What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down wide receiver top of the route moves and techniques and when to use each one of those moves and techniques, okay? So how we're going to break this video down is I'm going to show a clip of a wide receiver using a move at the top. We're going to talk about what the move is, what the name of the move is, and then when you guys would want to use that in a live game situation, okay? And then also, fellas, if you guys, this video is done by request, so if you guys have any kind of video requests, things that you guys would like to see next on this channel, don't hesitate to leave that in the comment section below. We always appreciate the feedback. So now, first things first, this move is going to be called a peek back move, okay? So you want to use this move on any kind of outside breaking route, okay? So now, most importantly, I like this on the goal line, number one, but I would say any kind of outside breaking route or a slant route. Okay, so now let's talk about it. So obviously when you sell with your eyes, this is the peek back right here. You're trying to sell what? You're trying to sell fade. That is why I like it on the goal line, because like normally when you guys run a fade and you're in the middle of the field or like a streak or a go route, you're keeping your head down for a few steps against man coverage. You know what I mean? So you don't want to look back right away, because if anything, that will not sell the route, right? But I like it on the goal line, because on the goal line, if you were to run a goal line fade and you had an inside shade guy, you'd want to square him up and you're looking for the ball right away because that quarterback's getting it out of his hands. So that's why I think it works a little bit better on the goal line, but this can be used in the middle of the field, it can be used on the goal line, but I like it for any kind of outside breaking route or a slant route, okay? So now, like I said, we were trying to make it look like a fade, so I can't just make it look like a fade solely with my eyes. If I have an inside shade guy, how would you run a fade against this? Everything about the route has to look the exact same for this peek back to work, so I'd attack his leverage. I'd maybe square him up a tad. I'd try to get him to think fade, try to get him to overcommit, and then I would burst back upfield. Now, when I do this peek back, I call it like, I refer to it as a glance. I don't even say look back. You don't want to look back for the ball because that implies that you're turning your body and your pad level is raising. You want to make sure that we keep a good pad level. I keep good speed, and I'm just glancing over my inside shoulder, because what a lot of guys will do is they'll fully turn and then their stride starts to shorten up. And if that DB is a little bit more disciplined and doesn't get his eyes in the backfield, he's going to be able to feel your stride change, sit on the route, and make a play. So you want to make sure that we peek back, keep a good pad level, like I'm still selling fade, still running full stride, and that will get that DB to break. So I could either break this thing off and run an out route like Olave does right here, or Olave does right here. I could snap this thing off and run a comeback. I could snap it off and run a stop route. I could run a corner route, or if I peek back and that DB really overcommits, I could run it on a slant like a diamond release. But this is a great peek back move to use, and I only like this move against man coverage. You only want to use this against man coverage when we are selling with the outside. You could do it with an outside release or an inside release, but when it's man coverage, that's when you want to use this peek back, okay? Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. This is great technique right here. So the first move we're covering today is that peek back. You want to use it on any outside breaking route or that slant route. So now we're going to be talking about a great move that you can use at the top of the route when you restack a defender that is not a peek back, and you could use it on an outside or an inside breaking route. But before we break that down, fellas, I want to talk to you about a great opportunity we are offering this offseason. We are coming out to 9 different cities across the United States for 2-day-long wide receiver and quarterback training camps. So the first place we're going to be stopping is Phoenix, Arizona. Then we're coming out to Houston, Texas, Newark, New Jersey, Atlanta, Georgia, Columbus, Ohio, Chicago, Illinois, Dallas, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, and Los Angeles, California. So the reason behind these camps, fellas, is we see so many people doing the camp thing wrong. They're trying to get as many kids as possible out there, and they're just going to run kids through drills and not actually coach you. That's not how you get better. That's not what we believe. We believe that you get better by actually being taught, right? So what we're going to do at these camps is we're limiting spots to only 10 to 12 guys. Our New Jersey camp only has about 6 spots remaining, same with Houston and same with Phoenix. But the reason why we limit spots is because we want to actually coach you. If you screw up, we want to tell you what you did wrong, show you how to fix it, show you some things that you can do to fix it, and actually help your game improve. And you don't see that a lot at these camps that a lot of people go to. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, and you guys want to travel out to one of these 9 cities that we are coming to this offseason, check out that very first link in the description below. All the information is there, the dates, the times. It's a 4-hour camp each day. For wide receivers, we're going to have DBs out there as well to work on one-on-ones, half-line concepts, and you're going to get coached up. Every single rep, you will get coached up. So like I said, if you're interested in that, want some more information on our 9 off-season camps, very first link in the description below. Let's get back to this video. So second technique here is going to be a rocker step. So when would you want to use a rocker step? What should your thought process be on a rocker step? So this is going to be a corner route. So think about the situation here first, right? So we have an outside shade guy. right? So this receiver, his split is cut down. He's tight into the formation. So why would the DB be outside shade? He's expecting an outside breaking route. So a lot of people, what they'll think is, oh, I just got to take the outside release. It's an outside breaking route. Don't want to do that because, again, if he's outside shade, his goal is to not let you be outside, go outside. He has safety help to the inside, most likely, obviously, because he's outside leverage. He's not going to do that without safety help. He's trying to force you to the help, trying to keep you away from the outside or make it hard on you to run an outside breaking route. So I need to have a plan for that. And a rocker step is a great way to do that because where he's vulnerable is to the inside at the top of the break. He's, again, he has safety help as well, but it's still man coverage. So it's watch this thing full speed. So this is why the rocker step works. He takes the inside release so the quarterback has space to throw him open. You see how much space he had from the break point to the sideline to be able to actually lead him, and that's because we didn't force the release. But what will get you separation at the top of this thing is a rocker step. So a rocker step is a two-step break where you go one, then two, and you were trying to sell the post route. So this rocker step, like I said, you could use it on any kind of route when you restack a guy. You could use it in zone, you can use it in off man. But right now when it's man, I like using this when I have to restack and I'm either running a 10-yard out, a 10-yard in, a corner, or a post. Those are the 4 routes that you use a rocker step on when it's man coverage because we were trying to get the DB to bite in the opposite direction off of a single cut. All 4 of these routes right here are routes that you guys can run off of a single one-step cut. So that's what we have to sell, right? So he's selling what on this? He's running a corner, so he's going to be selling post. So my whole entire body, shoulders, hips, step, everything about this has to sell post because that's what gets that DB to jump to the inside. And if I can do that and I can get some separation or maybe just get his hands off of me, I got some space now and some separation because he doesn't have hands for that quarterback to throw me open. So rocker step is the go-to move for me when you have to run either a post, a corner, a dig, or an out at the top of the route when you restack against man coverage. So that is a great restack move that you guys can use. Again, does the peek back technique work on the corner? Absolutely. But the rocker step is also another tool that you can have in your tool belt if you feel more comfortable with that. Let's watch it again full speed. Great job taking the inside release, not forcing the outside release, and that rocker step is a great way to create a ton of separation. Okay, so now third clip we're looking at here is when should you snap down on certain routes, right? So most importantly, we're talking about a dig route or an out route because the dig and the out route, like we just talked about, are 2 routes that you could break off of a single step. So when would you do that? When would you do the move at the top of the route and restack, or when would you snap it down? And now, obviously, you want to snap down on a curl, a comeback. Like those are pretty much a given, or like a 5-yard hitch or a stop route at the top. Those are a given. I'm talking about the routes where either one. You could go both ways. You could go snap it down, break down, or you could just go single speed cut or a rocker, what have you. So let's talk about the situation here. So let's play at full speed. So I've used this clip multiple times on this channel because this is such a dang good route here from Garrett Wilson, but this is textbook, right? So I have an outside shade DB. And again, like we talked about with the corner, right? He's outside shade, so he's trying to force you where? He's trying to force you inside. He doesn't want to let you run to the outside. So his goal is our goal, should be off the line is let's attack him to the outside, get him to widen a little bit, keep his leverage, take the inside release. But when I take the inside release, my mindset needs to be one of 2 things. I'm either working to restack or I am selling vertical, hoping his hips go, and then what do? I want to slip back underneath him, and that is when you would snap down on the on an out route, right? So you see this DB's in a good position to play it. We don't have the leverage to restack, or the route is maybe just too quick to where I can't get back over the top of him. So what do? You just want to be able to put the brakes on. You want to have that violent snap down with your hips so you're able to decelerate on a dime, actually drop your butt down, be able to just put the brakes on. And again, we can just slip back under a DB, force him to have to speed turn, and I'm still right on this route. But if we were able to restack, that is when you would maybe want to use the peek back, the rocker step, a single cut, a head fake, if you were able to restack. Now let's think about this on a dig route as well. On a dig route, like if you had this outside shade guy, you would work him off the platform, take the inside release, and you'd probably just use a single speed cut and go, right? Totally fine. Now, you have to run a dig route, but this DB's inside shade. That means you'd attack his leverage. You'd take the outside release. If the DB's playing it well, you'd snap it down and slip under. If he was inside shade and you attacked his leverage and then you were able to restack, then you would use a move like a rocker step or a single cut, right? But you wouldn't use a peek back because it's an inside breaking route. I hope that makes sense for everybody, but that's the mindset we have to have. It's a reaction. You can do one of two things when you have to run those two routes against inside coverage or outside leverage, okay? Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Great textbook routing from Garrett Wilson. That is when you would want to snap down, fellas, on an in route or a out route. So now this is kind of a more advanced move. This is called a fake throw by technique. So when would you want to do this? And you would want to do this on an inside release with a dig route, very similar to what we talked about, okay? So a fake throw by is trying to set up the route we just saw from Garrett Wilson, where he snapped it down and broke it off. So let's watch full speed. So this receiver does a great job with the wide step release, faking the throw by, doing a little head fake to the blind spot, and then catching this ball over the middle. So let's break it down, right? So this is, I don't like this from the DB. I think a lot of things could be better here from the DB, and I'll explain it. Like, if we're on the bottom of the numbers, like, what can you be expecting here? Probably an inside breaking route, right? Like, who would run a comeback with only this much space? Who would run a 10-yard out with only this much space? Nobody would, right? So this maybe isn't the best move. This is a great example of the move and how it should work, but this is not the best example of when to use the move. I would use this move if you were on top of the numbers or middle of the numbers, where the DB has to be a little bit more disciplined, if you will. I think this DB lacked a little bit of discipline on this play. And again, it's tough route to guard, but that's just, I want to make sure that you guys understand that. Because like when we do this wide step release, like he shouldn't even be moving. Like he should be inside shade, not even be moving. Because if he wants to go outside shade, like outside release like that, let him. I'm just going to get right onto his hip and squeeze him to the sideline, and that quarterback's going to have no space to make the throw. So we shouldn't be threatened by anything outside. I know this is not a DB channel and this is not a DB breakdown, but that's just one of the things you got to understand. Now, when we go off of here and he moves him off the platform, he's able to take the inside release. So again, like I said, how would you run a 10-yard out or a deep out against this kind of coverage where the DB's playing it well, hip to hip? You would swat his hands, snap down, throw by. So now as a receiver to run this in route, I want to build off of that. So you see he does this fake throw by. So he fakes the throw by, dropping his hips, gives a little head fake and threatens that blind spot. The DB's going to have to speed turn, and then he's able to get off of this thing with a ton of separation. So that's the fake throw by. You want to use that when you get an inside release on a dig route, maybe, and you've set up by snapping it down and running that speed out with the inside release, okay? So I hope that makes sense. Let's play this thing full speed one more time. Got to understand we want to use this maybe when I'm top of the numbers or middle of the numbers, not necessarily bottom of the numbers when that DB won't be threatened. You want to make sure the DB is able to be threatened by the outside route. Like that situation we looked at from Garrett Wilson where he did that, and let's say he was running a dig route, that would have been the perfect situation to use a fake throw by if he was running that inside route. Let's watch it again full speed. Great job with the wide step. I love the wide step, but top of the route is where we make our money, fellas. Top of the route is where we get the most separation. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave that in the comment section below. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. Always appreciate the feedback from you guys. And again, fellas, if you guys would like to come out to one of our 9 off-season wide receiver and quarterback camps where we will have DBs out there to give you guys a one-on-one, 7-on-7 look, check out that very first link in the description below. Spots are limited. You will be coached. This is not like a training camp that you see all over the country. It's more so detailed, and we're actually going to coach you up. So we'd love to have you out. Like I said, spots are limited. Very first link in the description below. I'll see you guys next time.